each manage, these are all managed switch nowadays. So in managed switch, we have a control software, maybe some operating systems from Linux based or some other based on the vendor, what the vendor is choosing or accepting the operating system and porting the operating system, which you cannot change. And we have a memory on each switch. So these are called the managed switch. So now when a data is coming from this machine to this machine, suppose I'm sending, so it is a 4-plane communication. So in 4-plane communication, we have a multiplexing. So backplane is normally free. Now when I'm sending a data from here to this, now it is a backplane 4-plane integrated communication. So in this communication system, this data packets will go to the memory as a queue. We have a queue management systems, and packets are forwarded, getting the forward acknowledgement. That means, you see, I have two types of communications, and we have a routing tables. Routes are fixed. We have given the routing tables, so I cannot change it. I can see, I can manage the speed, but I cannot change the routing. This is the scenario. So this is more exploded view. Suppose we have a fiber optic networks, we have a patch panel, a port, building 1, building 2. So this is the connectivity. Now, I cannot manage this switch from this switch. I can view this any switch from the management console. We have a web-based management system nowadays, and from the management console, I can view this, I can see this. So no problem. So now let us consider another situation. Suppose the complete network, I have a router. Our communication is coming from the exchange. I have a lease line, communication is coming through modem or whatever, maybe router is there. From the router, the switches are there. We have various servers and all other things. Now, whatever the policies are on the router, whatever the software on the router, whatever the things I have implanted into the router during the installation of the router or any switch, that is static. So I cannot change based on the need, based on the dynamic situation. So that is the normal problem in your switch-based system. And you see, now the switches perform the custom computations on the packets. So routers, the legacy routers. Now, these communication systems are there, which is predefined, cannot be defined, cannot be changed from a centralized controller. So this is the problem. So the problem is 94-95, it's a difficulty of integrating new technology. So I cannot integrate. When I am buying a switch, so I cannot change the software provided by the software vendor. I cannot change the routing table. I cannot change the performance. I cannot change the control of the congestion. Now, in user pool, proliferation of the middlewares are there, firewall, NATs and others. So, safe execution in mobile codes and applets are there, but these are all long codes and these are fields. So, no clear applications, no adaptive applications, and the programmable functions are absent. And in traditional WAN routing, treat all bits as the same. All priorities are identical. Routing tables are fixed. 30 to 40% average utilizations are there. And cost of bandwidth, high-end routing gears are there. Now, what is software-defined network? It is called the SDN nowadays. So, restructuring the current network infrastructure for improved network is called the SDN. It's not a new technology. Rather, reshaping the technology and reshaping the existing network into a disintegrated plane, data plane and control plane. So control and data planes are decoupled from the traditional forwarding devices. But in normal switches, what we used to see that your data plane, control plane, hardware, software, OS, everything are ported and fixed. You cannot change it. Now, when one switch goes off, then I cannot change any routing policy that without that switch, the computers connected under that switch will be working. It is not there. Even one port is off. One RJ45 port is off. That port you cannot reconfigure. Only you have to change the port from the switch side. So these are the limitations of this network. So a software-defined networking is an emerging architecture that is dynamic. It is manageable. Also, it is cost effective and adaptable, and making it ideal for high bandwidth dynamic nature of today's scenario. So this architecture decouple the network control and network forwarding functions from each other, and as a whole enabling the network control to become directly programmable in a centralized manner, and the underlying infrastructure to be abstracted for application and network services. Generally, OpenFlow protocol is a fundamental element for the buildings of this software-defined network solutions. Now, control and data plane. What is the control plane? It is the module which takes all decisions basically as instructor. The routing algorithms. That means these are the policies it generates for the routings and all other decision making by the control plane. And what is the data plane? The data module which carries out the task given by the control plane. Whatever task given by the control plane will be executed by the data plane, and it forwards the packet. Where to forward? Based on the policies given at that moment. It can be changed at any moment. That is the forwarding the packet. It's not blindly, not statically, but after getting a policies from the control plane. So let us consider a scenario in a current network. Suppose the user 1 is here and this is the root. This is the root. Now, suppose this switch is stuck. Some faults are there. The switch has been attacked. So, need to route through an alternative path. Is it possible in the nowadays scenario in the normal switch? No. Because when it is off, so you see this switch is orphan. So, the data can go to this path, this path, this path. You see? So I have to change the policies. Who will change the policies of this switching? What are the ports and what are the machines under this? Can it be connected to this or this? In the present scenario, it is not possible. So here all application, OS and hardware are individual system and as a standalone system. Switches are forwarded traffic in a distributed manner. They do not have a global view. This switch don't have a view on this switch. This switch has not any view on this or that switch. Global scenario is not seen by any switch. It is a private. That means I have 24 port, I have 12 port, I have 16 port. So my connectivity within that port, any port is disconnected, so I cannot control that port in any way. So the limitations I can spell out in a traditional network device is a vendor specific architecture. So when I am buying a switch from Cisco, so it is a specific in terms of the control software, in terms of the hardware, in terms of the memory, everything. So it limits the dynamic configuration according to the application specific requirement. And switches are required to configure according to the install operating system. I cannot change the operating system. I cannot control the operating system. That means whatever installed and ported into the switch, I have to take that. I only put the switch and that configure the switch. And here, there is no possibility of centralized control. And centralized control is not feasible in traditional network. And you see that I have a switch, 1,000 lines of codes for each switch. Routing, mobility management, cost expensive, and millions of gates, and all are bundled together as a private component. So now, current network to SDN scenario. Now let us consider that the vendor will provide the hardware. That means what does separate control and data plane? What is meaning? What is the meaning? What if they are separated? That means vendor will supply the hardware. We decide the control plane by writing custom logic. That is the software. That means earlier it was written. And what is the existing switch? These are written. Now what is the advantage? Now features are no longer limited to the vendor specific. So it is a community development, longer life of the product. That means I can change the configuration, I can change the software, I can change the logic of the software, I can change the operating system. Some operating system is obsolete, some new technological operating system has come, I can port it. So this is the scenario of this present network of SDN. How does SDN work? Compared to the traditional network, a software-defined network has two types of devices, controller and switches. So the switches in SDN is a blind one. That means no policies, no controls, no built-in feature, and needs to be instructed by the controller. So now, SDN controller, what is SDN controller? It's the brain of the network. This is your SDN controller. All policies, routing logic are placed in the controller. It teaches the switches what to do with an unknown packet. Now let us consider that a scenario that a packet want to go from H1 to H3 in an SDN environment. Let's consider the scenario. So source is H1 and destination is H3 and connected with a centralized control which is called the controller, and this is your SDN switch. Now what is routing table? No policies are giving. So H1 to H3 is at the beginning. The rule is there that it has to be forwarded from H1 to H3. Now this is a blank. So now the controller will give the packet in and packet out. That policy table is missed, packet is buffered. So controller generate the rule based on the software program, routing table, and that is your rule. So based on this rule, this S1 will forward the data from H1 to H3. You see, like this. So now SDN architecture. We have three layers of the SDN. Application layer, we have the control layer, data layer. So in application layer, we have the traffic engineering, routing, security, and in control layer, we have the operating system, and in data layer, we have forwarding devices, various forwarding devices. Now, this application layer, these are called the northbound API, and your data layers, these are called the southbound API. You see, this is the architecture. In other view, we have controller, we have northbound controller, northbound API, then southbound controller, southbound API, then forwarding devices are there. Whatever be the forwarding devices, and in network operating systems, in the northbound controller, we have traffic engineering, we have the routing, we have the security. So a typical representation of SDN architecture comprises of three layers. The application layer I have shown you, the control layer, and the infrastructure layer. So this is the architecture. So these three layers communicate using respective northbound and southbound application programming interface API. So this is the controller, is SDN controller, northbound API, southbound API, and these are the devices, various devices connected, whatever available and whatever required in a particular network. Now, how SDN works? SDN encompasses several types of technologies, which include functional separation, network virtualization, and automation using programmable feature of SDN. So originally, SDN focuses on the separation of data plane and control plane, and data plane from the network control plane. So data plane physically moves data from one network segment to another network segment, and network control plane gives how the packets are forwarded within the network. So now what are the benefits of this software defined network? Is prioritizing and deprioritizing the specific network traffic. Now I have instructed that the traffic will go to A, B, C, D. Now at the next moment, I may change the routing that A, D, C, B. That means I am prioritizing a node or deprioritizing a node. Sometimes one node has been failed, so I am not getting the response from the node. So controller will change the route dynamically to other route, avoiding that particular node. Suppose one node is malicious, intruded, one node has been intruded, so that node has been excluded after detecting the intrusion. So high granularity control, because I can control each and every devices, I can control each and every node of the complete path of the network. So end-to-end network management, I can go for it. End-to-end network visibility is available to the SDN controller, and centralized controller-based policy management. That means the policies are given by the centralized controller, and high level of security by deploying security policies across the network, and management of suspicious traffic and virtualization hardware devices. So these are various benefits of the SDN network. Now, how do you implement the SDN network? What is the basis? What is the base protocol of implementing the SDN network? OpenFlow WEP is considered one of the first software-defined network standard. It is originally defined to act as a communication protocol in SDN environment. So OpenFlow enables the SDN controller to directly interact with the forwarding planes of network device such as switches, router, with dynamic policies. That means I am giving a policy at that moment. The router is acting the policy based on the policy given by the controller. Now at the next moment, when I have some other packets or the routing things are there, so there may be some new policies. So this is the scenario of the SDN. So you see, this is the architecture I have already discussed. We have network operating system, we have the application layers, we have the packet forwarding hardware. That means these are the devices, and we have the open interface and extensible ways to convert program to rule. That is the most important factor, that extensible ways to convert program into the rule. Now, what is the OpenFlow? OpenFlow is a protocol for controlling the forwarding behavior of Ethernet. in an SDN. Initially, it's released by Clean Slate program at Stanford specifications and now maintained by Open Network Forum. So OpenFlow is a layer 2 communication. What is the definition and defining the OpenFlow? OpenFlow is a layer 2 communication protocol that gives access to the forwarding plane of network, switch or router over the network. How OpenFlow works? OpenFlow enables network controller to determine the path of the network packets across the network of switches. That means now I am giving a path. So for the next I can change the path and other things. So the controller is a separate entity and is distinct from the switches or infrastructure. And this helps in a sophisticated traffic management, unlike access control list or routing based mechanism. So OpenFlow allows to manage the switches from multiple vendors. That means whoever be the vendor. So I can configure the switch, I can configure the control plane, I can configure the data plane from any vendor. So OpenFlow allows remote administration of layer 3 switches packets forwarding table. That means the packet forwarding tables is managed by the OpenFlow and it is a dynamic in nature. This is achieved by adding, modifying and removing packet switching rules and actions. And these rules are dynamic. The rules can be changed dynamically. And routing decision can be made periodically or ad hoc by the controller and translated into rules and actions with a configurable lifespan. That means I am giving a rule, the rule may exist for certain amount of time, finite time. After that, I will change the rule. And this is then deployed to a switch flow table, leaving the actual forwarding of matched packet to the switch at where speed of the duration of the rule. And packets are forwarded based on the rules giving at that moment from the controller to the devices. Now implementation scenario of the OpenFlow. OpenFlow protocol is layered on top of the transmission control protocol. So OpenFlow prescribes the use of transport layer security, TLS. Controllers should listen on TCP port 6653 for switches that wants to set up a connection. OpenFlow is mainly used between the switch and controller. Now, OpenFlow is not complete set of the SDN. It is a subset of software-defined network. OpenFlow is one flavor of subset of SDN, and OpenFlow is not all for the SDN, and OpenFlow is not at all the complete SDN scenario. So this structure I have already discussed. So how this OpenFlow works? Suppose this is the switch. This is the switch, and now you see these are the data path. That means whatever hardware, TCAM and everything. So this is your control path. So we have the OpenFlow client. We have the OpenFlow messaging API using SSL or TCP. We have the OpenFlow controller. So you see that we have the OpenFlow client. We have source MAC, we have destination MAC, we have source IP, destination IP, source port TCP, destination port TCP, and action. What are the actions? Through Ethernet ports into various devices. So now, what is the power of the SDN? let us consider that Bob wants his own set of network rules to forward his packet. And Bob's forwarding application like this. Yeah, like this. So now Bob's forwarding the packets. Now Alice wants have a set of separate rules. Alice wants his own set of network rules to forward his packet. You see, he is using this route, using this route. So now I have same network. Two persons are forwarding the packet using separate rules and separate routing protocol, separate routes also. You see, Bob's forwarding applications and Alice forwarding applications. Two applications are running simultaneously, but they are taking different paths. So you have a distributed control plane here, but you have a centralized control plane in your SDN scenario. This is your control plane and this is your data plane. Now some open flow tables you can use. What are the we are using? What we are using? The rules. Various rules I am giving. Ethernet type, IP security, IP destination, MAC destination, MAC source, VLAN ID, all TCP destination port, IPTOS. So all our rules are given by the. Then what are the actions? Forward the packets to 0 or port, encapsulate and forward the packets, modify fields, drop packets based on the policies. Now what are the statistics? Packets and bytes counts, they are priorities. You define your rules and priorities and the stability of the rule, stability of the priority. These are some of the, suppose these are switch port, VLAN ID, MAC, SRC. So now action is going to the Ethernet. But in the firewall here, you see action is drop your packet. That means I can take two different actions on some packets. See, it may be forwarding or it may be dropping, whatever may be, you see. Yeah. Now, some security issues of software defined network. What are the security issues? Now, flooding and DOS attack, host hijacking attack, tampering attack, spoofing attack. These are some of the attacks in software defined scenarios. That means I can say that your SDN switches are not beyond the scope of attack. Now first consider the flooding and DOS attack. What are the scenario? The attacker may devise a DOS attack to make the controller down. The control plane in SDN requires a request from forwarding plane or flow the rules. So this leads to no response from the controller, and thus the traffic becomes the standstill. Hence, if the attackers finds that the open flow switches are used, they will devise resumption attack. That is the flooding and DOS attack. Now let us consider host hijacking attack. It's a spoofing attack by exploiting host tracking service. That means the host tracking service or HTS is a network-wide view and as an essential service in the essential SDN controller. The issue with HTS is that it gets poisoned through host impersonation attack, man in the middle attack or DOS attack. So if the controller is successfully hijacked sensitive information such as password, traffic management rules, so routes will be confined or it may lead to troublesome things. Now tampering attack. In SDN, northbound API and southbound API messages are used to manage the network. I have already discussed this. So in tampering attack, this northbound API and southbound API messages might spoofed to insert some malicious flow rule. So if flow rules are changed, that means the network traffic management will be changed, network scenario and the efficiency will be changed, it may reduce, and it may lead to flow of traffic across the SDN in random manner. That means the control of the flow is misleading. So that may lead a disaster of the network. Now come to the spoofing attack. In the event of successfully spoofing attack, then the attacker can create and update the entire flow table in SDN. And if the flow table is computed and changed, what is happening? Because as controller is distributing the rule, so he may distribute the rule now. So complete scenario will be a massacre situation. So the network management team may not get a visible view of that actual flow from the production controller. So it will be a misleading communication. Thus, the attacker would have to control the network entirely. So some other attacks which compromise the performances of controller and reply attack, host impersonate attack, etc. These attacks are different vulnerabilities in control plane. So these are the some vulnerabilities in SDN. You see the access control. This reservation is open access and susceptibility to access by any element without restriction. Authentication is a lack of identification in a distinctive way. Confidentiality, revealing its feature and disclosing its communication. Non-reputation, not taking its action, its events and their actors. Integrity, susceptibility to temper in whole or part, and availability, resources are partially or totally inaccessible. Now, how do you manage the controller in SDN? Now, how to manage all of these problems? The controller is the main component of the SDN. So there is a major possibility of failure of the controller in various scenarios I have already discussed. So the controller is to be prevented from any malicious attack or from the failure due to technical reasons. So if the controller is unavailable due to some reasons, maybe hijacked or maybe malicious attacks, then other have to be a backup service so that the devices connected to the controller is managed with a stopgap solution. Now, in the event of failure of the controller in the single controller environment, there is a massive chance of network breakdown. So other solutions related to multiple controller environment, either in cluster form or replicated scenario, leads to degradation of the performance of the network. So therefore, a requirement is felt for a solution which will have the advantage of both scenarios. Maybe in the attack scenario, how do you back up, how do you restore, or how do you prevent? So the solution, what are the solutions? So various solutions are proposed. So some of our scholars and our work, we have proposed the entire network is divided into number of subnets. So this subnet will generally cater to different VLAN in a multi-VLAN environment. Each of these subnet, which is an SDN, is being managed by dedicated controller. Each controller manages the subnet as per topology and policies. Now let us consider the figure. You see, these are the SDNs and controller, and this is the controller. These are the controllers, and we have BRS. That means backup and restore systems in multiple controller scenario.
হ্যালো হ্যালো
স্যারও মিউট হয়ে আছে, অন্বেষাও মিউট হয়ে আছে।
হ্যালো অন্বেষাদি হচ্ছে না কেন?
স্যারকে কেউ মিউট করেছো? স্যারকে কেউ মিউট করেছে? স্যার মিউট হয়ে গেছেন। স্যার মিউট হয়ে আছেন। স্যারকে কেউ মিউট করে দিয়েছে। স্যারকে কেউ মিউট করেছো? কে স্যারকে মিউট করেছে? আমি আর নেই এরকম দেখলাম যে তাকে আমাকে সকালবেলাও আমি একজনকে রিমুভ করতে বাধ্য হয়েছিলাম, কিন্তু যদি কেউ এরকম মিউট করেন আমি কিন্তু তাকে রিমুভ করতে বাধ্য হব মিটিং থেকে। কে স্যারকে মিউট করে দিয়েছে?
Okay, I'm just again sharing. Okay, I'm
ওকে
just
স্যার,
again
ওকে স্যার।
sharing. It's visible?
It's visible? Yes sir, yes sir. Yes sir.
Okay. So now,
ম্যাম কথা খুব রিপিট হচ্ছে।
so we have the BRF. Hello.
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার। স্যার শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
Hello?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার। হ্যাঁ স্যার।
কিন্তু খুব ইকো হচ্ছে। আমি বেরিয়ে ঢুকছি আবার।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা স্যার, ঠিক ঠিক আছে। আমি দেখি ফোনটা নিয়ে চলে যাই, কিছু হবে না, বুঝতে পেরেছি। কিছু হবে না, মুশকিল হবে।
It's okay?
হ্যাঁ স্যার,
পুরো ইকো হচ্ছে পুরো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক। I'm sharing again.
ওকে স্যার।
So you see that
Yes sir, yes sir.
this is the BRF and these are the controller.
Okay sir. Yes
These
sir.
are connected and you see that all of the controllers are connected through the BRS. And you see there may be a single master controller or there may be multiple controller. So multiple controller means, you see, you have a master controller and you have a slave controller under each subnet. So each subnet there may be a master controller, there may be a slave controller. So slave will copy the master's policy, and all over BRS is taking the backup and restore system of the controller. And these are the devices. This is the architecture. Now what are the steps? Controller failure detection is one step. Authentication process is another step. And controller recovery process is another step. So these are three steps normally we followed. Now let us consider the failure detection. So in this architecture, the BRS is ping each controller on a regular interval. Once BRS detects a controller failure, it sends a request to the topologically adjacent controller for management of control plane of that subnet or ad hoc basis. So one of the adjacent controller will be selected for the management of additional subnet. And the assigned controller will be required to undergo an authentication process. So once the existing controller is recovered, so control is handed over to that controller. So the various things are proposed. So one process I am telling you, that we used to take a message, we used to go for the arithmetic coding, and BRS will compute the inconsistency of the code, and then it will detect whether the controller is malicious or not. These are the some steps. Just I am speaking this, you can take it. So in controller recovery process, after recovery of the existing controller for a particular subnet, the BRS will hand over the control plane to it. The same process of authentication using the existing technique is followed for handing over the process. So once handing over process is completed, the assigned controller is relieved and the normal processing will go on. Now, one solution I am taking for a current scenario with a blockchain based backup and restore system. This BRS use the blockchain based systems. So BRS is an important system we have already discussed, and it provides support to several subnets, and individual SDN is backed up by this BRS. So BRS can manage subnets with single or dual SDN controller, master slave controllers, standalone controllers. So BRS will handle the backup and related activities of the assigned subnets. And what is a blockchain? A blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography. So each block contains cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp and transaction data. So it's an open distributed ledger that can record the transaction. Is it typically managed by peer-to-peer network? So you see, this is the blockchain of a master slave controller I have shown you. It may be only master controller. So there is a blockchain under each subnet. There is a blockchain under each subnet. There is a blockchain under each subnet. So the BRS is managing all the subnets, and the backup, restore, and the malicious detection is done using blockchain. And what is done? When the controllers are connected to a chain in a block, the hash for the first block will be the decimal value. Suppose this is one example I am giving you, and it can take a random number. And the hash for the second will be the, suppose I am giving you that, suppose is it 95. So 95 is an odd number. So what is the position of 95 in the odd series? What is the position of 3 in the odd series? Second position. First is 1, then 3 is the second. So like that, 95, what is the position? That position will be kept into the next block, next node. So this is one computation, you see. Here, this is the computation that this is one source block 8-bit, 85 is there. What is the 85? It is 85 is the reaches 43rd position in the odd series. Like this, that means I can compute any hash value in any node, any controller on the chain. So that is the potential of the computation and two-way authentication. Now how can we authenticate this in a two-way authentication system? Starting from the very first block in chain, we'll calculate the forward value and the backward value in the hash value of the next block and the hash value of the previous block. That means I am in the block n. I am computing the hash value of the n-1 and I am computing the hash value of the n+1. So if the calculated hash value, forward hash value and backward hash value match, so no problem. If it does not match, that means some malicious work is there. So I can authenticate in two ways: anti-clockwise direction, forward computation, and clockwise direction, the backward computation, I can go for it. So if both are matches the values, then it is called the authenticated block. You see like this. You see block K plus 1. So like this. So is a forward hash value and this is the backward hash value. So if the forward hash value calculation of block minus K plus 2 or block K plus 3 is matched, that means the, you see, backward hash value calculation for block K plus 4 are both incorrect, then block 3 is malicious. That means it's called a two-way authentication. That means in the clockwise direction and in the anti-clockwise directions I can go for it. Now you see, if I go for a chain, so either the number will be enormously large or I have to go for multiple chain. So here multiple chain can be there. So in various subnet defined chain, various chains are there. Then what will be the facility? The facility will be there that if one chain is malicious, I can remove that chain and I can put a next chain or new policies. And I can remove the malicious sorts of things. So what are the challenges of the SDN? The security is both a benefit and a concern with the SDN technology. The centralized SDN controller presents a single point of failure, and if targeted by an attacker, can prove detrimental to the network. Ironically, another challenge with the SDN is really no established definition of software-defined network in the networking industry still now. Different vendors offer various approaches to SDN, ranging from hardware-centric model, virtualization platform, to hyper-converged networking design and controller-less methods. Some networking initiatives are often mistaken for SDN, including white box networking, network disaggregation, network automation, and network programmable networking. While SDN can benefit and work with these technologies and process, it remains a separate technology. So SDN technology emerged with a lot of hype around 2011 when it was introduced alongside the OpenFlow protocol. So it has started near about 2011. Since then, adoption has been relatively slow. You see now almost 10 years from 2011. So still you see popularity of the SDN. In India, there is no SDN switches. I think NIT Raipur has purchased one with a lot of permission from the ministry, because the foreign policy is not defined properly for these SDN switches. Also, many enterprises cite the cost of SDN deployment to the deterring factors. That is another policy. Now, summary. So SDN encompasses several types of technologies, including functional separation, network virtualization, and automation through programmability. So originally SDN technology focused solely on separation of the network control plane from the data plane, while the control plane makes the decision about how packets should flow through the network. The data plane actually moves packet from place to place. That was the original. In classic SDN scenario, a packet arrives at a network switch and rules built into the switches, proprietary firmware tell the switch where to forward the packet. So this packet handling rules are sent to the switch from the centralized controller. So the switch, also known as data plane device, where is controller for the guidance and needed. It provides controller with the information about the traffic. So some references are also there. This is the NPTEL lecture from software defined networks. Sandeep.
রোহিত সামন্ত কে? বাবলু সামন্ত? স্যারকে
স্যার
মিউট
আবার
করে দিয়েছো
মিউট
কেন? স্যারকে মিউট করেছো কেন রোহিত সামন্ত? স্যার আপনাকে মিউট করে দিয়েছে। হাসতে না। এই মানে এতবার করে বলেও
এটা বারবার হচ্ছে ম্যাডাম।
এতবার করে
ওই তুমি একটু ট্রেস রাখো তাহলেই হবে। আমি আবার ইয়ে করে দিচ্ছি, দাঁড়াও। So now you see that SDN encompasses several types of technologies, including functional separation, network separation, network virtualization, and automation through programmability. Originally, SDN technology focused solely on the separation of the network control plane from the data plane. While the control plane makes decision about how packets should flow through the network, the data plane actually moves packet from plane to plane. So in a classic SDN scenario, a packet arrives at network switch and rules built into the switch, so proprietary firmware tell how the forwarding packets are moved. So switch, also known as data plane device, and where is the controller for guidance as needed, and it's provided the controller with information about the traffic it handles. So switches send every packet going to the same destination along the same path, but in SDN policies are being changed time to time. So these are some of the references. NPTEL lectures are there. You can read the NPTEL lecture, view that. We have some introduction software defined network by Professor Raj Jain. We have books, and these are some of the URLs, Wikipedia. So these are some of the methods and methodology I have discussed. In short, now I can go for question answers and discussion anymore, I think. Anessa, you just
Thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation. So now I request the participants, if you have any question, kindly ask sir now. You can write.
Okay, Aneshadi, I have one question. Aneshadi.
please. Please, you go through your question.
First, yes, yes. Sir, actually in
Write your
traditional
question in the
network,
chat box also.
Yeah, you please tell.
yes sir, in traditional network we all know about there are total 5 layers in TCP/IP: physical layer, data layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer. And in
Yeah.
SDN, software defined network, there are mainly 3 layers: infrastructure layer, control layer or network layer, and application layer. So can we think the together function of a physical layer and data link layer in traditional network is equivalent to the function of infrastructure layer in SDN?
No, all
Is it
other
correct
5
or-
layer all 5 layer functions are embedded, but SDN switches are separated into these 3 layers. It is the architecture of the SDN, and this has been bridged with the 5 layer protocol with OpenMP. That's open flow. Okay, you does not think that the 5 layer concept is over. No, it is there.
Okay.
But it is still there, but it is the private to the SDN switches.
Okay.
How it is their own orientation of the SDN switches, not by
That
the
means
protocol.
in SDN, That means in SDN, sir, at first we have to construct infrastructure, then pass this information through control layer or network layer, and finally for user perspective, we use application layer. Sir,
Yeah,
I
that
have
is
another
there.
question, sir. Sir, I have another two questions. Second question is
IPsec and all other. I have shown you, no, in forwarding.
yes.
Yeah, I have shown
Yes,
you.
sir.
everything.
Sir, sir, northbound application, the difference between northbound application and southbound application.
Yeah.
What is the difference between? What is the main function in one line?
Actually, southbound API. These are functionalities to control the devices. That means
Okay,
your switch, your router, and the northbound is for API layer. That means your controller and the applications, they are written there. Whatever packets you have written, whatever packages you have written, these are there. These are not ported into the switches or router. Okay. This has been separated like this. Okay.
Okay, sir, another question we have received from Somnath Bera. How prioritization and deprioritization of specific network done? Is it done through any algorithm? How system prioritize and deprioritize the network when data is sent from H1 to H2?
Okay, when data is sent from H1 to H2, that means H1 is a device, H2 is also a device. So H1 and H2 has no routing table. So the policies are given by the controller, SDN controller. And the policies and algorithms are written into the controller. Now policies are dynamic. Suppose I am sending H1 to H2. So now I am using RSA algorithm for encryption. After 5 minutes, controller will give you the DES algorithm for communication. What is not possible in normal switches. That means this is prioritized. These algorithms are written into the SDN controller itself. So you have to write a single algorithm or multiple algorithm with some hash functions so that it can select a particular algorithm at a particular moment. And there is this timestamp to take the algorithm, to disseminate the algorithm to the switches by the controller. So that is the scenario.
Okay. Sir, another question we have received from Shomojit Goswami. Sir, if we use the infrastructure of public cloud, we should get all the benefits you mentioned for SDN. Do you think SDN will be useful for cloud as well? If
Definitely.
yes, how it can be done?
Actually, what we have done, we did not someone sharing. Okay, okay, no problem. We did not separate the cloud communication from the SDN. It is absolutely incorrect. I am taking every data, all packets. Controller is managing its own devices, not outside devices. When outsider packets from cloud is coming, the controller is managing its own way. That is the only thing. It is a private to the own VLAN. It is the private to the own VLAN. It is not detaching any communication from cloud. Everything is open to come to the SDN, to the device. But policies are given based on the policy. Suppose this cloud is forbidden. So controller will put a policy that this cloud platform will not be acceptable. It is your decision. It is the policies you are defining into your controller. Okay.
Sir, another question Siddhartha Chatterjee has raised that for preventing DDoS attack or other attacks, cryptographic hash function technique is sufficient? Or apart from hash function, is there any other technique?
Lot of other techniques are there. I have simply given a simple technique so that everyone can understand, and everyone can understand the use of the blockchain in new scenario.
Yes,
That is my intention, that I can do in this way. I can do in several ways. Research is going on. Everyone can put their own way. That will be another algorithm. You can put your algorithm, I can put my algorithm. This is one example I have given to you.
Yes, sir. So, if you have any other question, then you can contact sir because you can find sir's email ID from the Google also. So I suggest
Yeah, you
you.
give the website, Annasa, you give my website, jkmandal.com, so they
Yes,
can go through
yes,
there also.
see.
Yeah, you can write the mail into the chat box also, they can
Yes, sir.
contact
Yes,
me
sir. Yes, sir.
anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anytime anyone is free to contact with me, I am always available.
Yes, sir. So if you have any question, you can contact sir anytime. I'm just sharing his email ID. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just checking and then sharing his email ID. Let me check. কি এখন লাস্ট মোমেন্টে এন্ট্রি করতে চাইছে না আচ্ছা জাস্ট আ মিনিট you can contact him directly if you need. You can contact him directly. Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for this nice and informative presentation. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, sir, for your nice and informative presentation. And the participants, you please fill up the feedback form and submit. And if required, you can contact sir directly anytime. I have just put his email address. You can note it. Okay, so thanks out to all the participants and thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for
Thank
accepting
you.
our invitation. So due to some technical problems, inconvenience has been raised. Actually,
No
I don't
problem, no
know.
problem. These are happened. No problem, no issue. We are habituated with this. Thank you, Annasa, for your effort.
Thank you
So
very
keep
much.
keep keep up this effort. Any help from
My
me, you
pleasure,
will get
sir.
anytime.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you. I am
thank you.
leaving because I have another meeting. Okay, thank you, thank
Okay,
you,
okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
thank you, thank you. Bye to all.
Okay,
Keep.
okay, sir. Bye.
Okay.
Tomorrow we will meet again at 10:30. Okay, because 10:15. Because from 10:30 we have another lecture. So there is some change in the schedule that in the first half, that means from 10:30, from 10:30, Professor Anirban Dash will deliver his lecture, and in the second half, Dr. Anirban Mitra will give the lecture. So there is an actually. Uh, we have to just reschedule it. So in the morning we will meet again. So good night, everyone. So thanks for attending attending the webinar. Thanks a lot. Good night. Though it's not night now, it's afternoon still because we are leaving. So bye.
Okay.